Hello everyone, I'm Marcy with Murals and Musings by Marcy, and today I'm going to be painting this cute little dresser that my mom found for me at the thrift store. You can see that it is in very used condition. It's got tons of little cracks and chips in the paint, but overall it's still pretty sturdy, and I love it because I just think it's so unique. Now typically to paint something like this, I would spend hours and hours sanding it, trying to remove as many of those imperfections as possible. And I would also use a paint sprayer to make sure that I got an even coat of paint, especially in all this detailed area. But Beyond Paint sent me a quart of their paint to try for free and just share with you all what I think of it. So this is supposed to be an all-in-one paint that's good for any kind of surface, from wood to laminate, plastic, metal, you name it. And it says no stripping, no sanding, no priming. It's supposed to be self-leveling, which means that it should fill in all those little cracks and leave behind no roller or paint strokes. So if ever there was something to put this to the test, it's this little dresser. I gotta be honest with you though, a part of me still really feels like I need to sand it because I can't imagine it working that good. But I'm gonna give it a shot, and I'm just gonna share with you my honest opinion when I'm done. The first thing I need to do is make sure the surface is clean, so I'm wiping everything down with a slightly damp cloth. Then I'm going to pull out all the drawers and remove the knobs, which I plan to replace. Only these knobs aren't coming off as easily as I'd hoped. So it turns out these little knobs were actually glued and stapled in place, and in taking it off, I did a little damage to the face of the drawer. So I'm gonna have to do just a little bit of a repair and then drill a new hole so that I can put my new knobs in. But that's okay, it's just a little setback. I ended up having to use a little wood putty to fill the holes I made when I pried off the knobs. Once it dried, I sanded it smooth, albeit just in this one tiny little area. Then I drilled a hole all the way through the face of the drawer so that I could screw in the new knobs. Beyond Paint also sent me a brush, a roller, and this cute little paint tray. Unfortunately, even though the packaging was clearly labeled fragile, it arrived pretty banged up at my front door and the paint tray was broken. But that's okay because there was no damage done to the paint, and I have another paint tray. Although this one's black and the color probably isn't going to show up as nicely against this because the color that I chose is navy. Oh, and it's sealed. That's smart. Yeah, let me just get a knife. I'm anxious to see this. Look at that. The color is navy and it's really beautiful, and I'm quickly noticing that this paint is thicker than any paint I've ever used before. Look at that, just stands up straight in there. I'm just going to pour some into my tray and get painting. I'll be using both the brush and the roller because there's so many areas that are a little more difficult to get to. I'll get everything covered once, wait for it to dry, and then I'll lay on a second coat of paint. Because I'm taking this dresser from one extreme to the other, meaning it's going from off-white to dark navy, it took 3 coats of paint in some areas. But now that I have the desired look, I'm letting it dry for a few hours. With the paint fully dried, now I can add the brass knobs to each of the drawers. They go on easily and are the perfect contrast against the new navy blue color. And just like that, this project is done. Before I show you my finished project, just let me very quickly go over my thoughts on Beyond Paint. Overall, I really like it. It's very obviously a high quality paint. I was impressed with how smooth it left everything. Even though I used a brush for a lot of it, there were no brush strokes left behind. It's very, very smooth finish. It did fill in a lot of those little cracks. It didn't fill all of them in, but my piece was pretty far gone. Also, a couple things to consider. In terms of color choices, they don't offer a whole lot, but the colors they do offer are really gorgeous and in keeping with what's popular right now. Also, it's more expensive than the paint I typically buy. As you know, I paint quite a bit and I'm always looking to do things as inexpensively as possible. So it's more expensive, but because it saved time in sanding, you need to take that into consideration because time is money. Also, I have quite a bit of paint left over for another project, so there's even more added value. That said, here's a look at my little dresser before. It definitely needed some TLC, and here it is now. It's contemporary and chic with a bold new color and shiny brass knobs, and I absolutely love it. Thanks so much for checking out my video. If you've got a furniture redo project in mind and you're interested in trying Beyond Paint, I'll put a link in the description below. Otherwise, be sure to subscribe, like, and click the notification bell. I just want to say a special thank you to those of you who've been subscribers to Murals by Marcy for a number of years now. I want to let you know that I just launched a brand new channel called Marcy Inspired. It's me cooking with a pinch of faith. Cooking is another one of my loves, and I'm going to be sharing a new recipe every single week. So if this sounds like something that might interest you, I invite you to check it out. It's Marcy Inspired, and I'd really appreciate your support.